Is Luke Kwon next to leave Good? This has been the most asked question since I released my video about Ben parting ways with Good a couple weeks ago. This is something I've seen both in the comments of that video, but also weeks prior. This is DMs, this is comments, this is something you guys really want me to talk about, so we are going to dive into it today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. I want to start with a little recap of the week, a week in YouTube golf, if you will, to bring you up to speed on a couple things, because there's been a lot happening. Starting with your boy playing a 1-iron, only 9 holes with the blade from 1960 and hitting this shot from 160 yards. Check out the video linked below. 160 stick. I can try to hit like a real high cut, try to finesse it in there. As you can see, margin of error is quite minimal with this thing. Might make like a 9. That is probably the coolest shot I've ever hit on camera. The first clip you just saw of the boys down in Scottsdale, obviously the video of Grant and Brian Bros. This was about a week and a half ago, playing at TPC Scottsdale, came out on both channels. Absolutely electric. Wesley just being the Wesley show, the wedge show, very entertaining content. And then fast forward to this week, we had the ultimate collaboration of the Brian Bros and Jon Rahm. Now obviously they had posted their own separate 18-hole video on their channel, but this week was about a collaboration with Grant, a video in which Grant holed out on the opening shot from like, I don't know what it was, like 125, 100, I don't want to sell them short here, a serious distance, a real hole out from the fairway with his partner George Bryan to take a massive lead on Wesley and John, a team that they very much look like would dominate the entire match. And spoiler alert, sort of, but I assume you've seen it, kind of did towards the end of the video, but especially at the beginning, George and Grant were in the driver's seat from 2 massive holeouts from him. So absolutely electric part 1 on Brian Bros, and then part 2, the closeout. That's really when John and Wesley started to come back. There was a bit of tension. It was a really solid 2-video series, and more than that, it shows the power of YouTube golf. The fact that Jon Rahm is taking time out of his day to film 2 18-hole videos with Brian Bros and Grant is absolutely incredible. Listening to John in the carts talk about how big of a fan he is of YouTube golf, he knew how Grant closed out Garrett on the 18th hole to win in their match. Like literally, this guy actually watches YouTube golf. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Rahm has watched one of my videos. I know that's crazy to say, but if you're a fan of YouTube golf, you may or may not have seen a video, a Nate Everton video talking about YouTube golf at some point. Like that's wild to think about. Like this guy legitimately is like a fan of fans. Jon Rahm, if you're watching this video, please comment down below, and I'm just gonna pack up and quit YouTube forever, because that would just be the craziest thing on planet Earth. So I don't expect to see that comment, but guys, if we get that comment, I'm gonna call my mom. Anyway, all right, let's dive into the next topic of conversation. Rick Shields posted his video with Sergio Garcia this past Friday, another 10-shot challenge. Honestly, one of my favorite series from Rick. I really enjoy this style of content. I really enjoy how he can add tension usually to a match with a pro that could absolutely destroy all of us, including Rick, if we just played from scratch. Like there's such a different level between like a YouTube golfer, a golf pro, and then a PGA Tour, now Live Golf, but you know, PGA Tour relic Hall of Famer in Sergio Garcia. Just another great YouTube golf video, and one that I was very excited to see come out. Okay, so that's a quick update of some of my favorite pieces of YouTube golf this week. We also have Good starting their road trip, which looks to be another series, another multiple video series, kind of similar to what they did before their live meetup in Dallas, when they drove all the way down from the tip top of the United States down the East Coast and finished off at that live meetup in Dallas that we were a part of. So obviously lots of content for you guys to consume. But on that topic of Good, Luke Kwon. Once I released that Ben video, you can go back, you can look at it. All of the top comments, all of the most liked and engaged with comments are, okay, but is Luke Kwon next? Okay, but Luke Kwon. Okay, but Luke Kwon. So I wanted to come on here and give my take on this, because this is something that you guys have been wanting me to talk about for a long time, and I'm going to give my opinion here. I'm going to give my opinion as a fan of YouTube golf, as obviously a YouTuber and a bit of a YouTube nerd, and that's really what I've kind of built this type of content doing. So listen, you can give me your opinion in the comments below, and I want to hear it. But here's what I think. Number 1, is Luke Kwon next to leave Good? Maybe. I mean, maybe. At this time, I don't have any official statements from either party, Luke Kwon or Good. I have no official communication about the matter, which, to be honest, I don't really want. Like, unless something is actually concretely happening, I would hope that those two parties would just keep the cards in close to their chest. Because as far as like the official of what's happening, that's business between two adults, or one adult being an entity in Good and then one adult being Luke Kwon, and like that's not something that you want floating around the internet unless you're like certain, made a decision, here's what's happening. And clearly that's not the point. Otherwise this would be a very different video. So let's just look at it with that lens. No official statements. But is Luke Kwon next to leave Good? Maybe. I mean, listen, I think Good is in a different place than they used to be. I think the idea of leaving Good is not quite what it was. When Grant and Micah left Good, those were essentially, Micah more so than Grant, like two what felt like founding members of the group. This was an essentially rock solid group. I know there was like a pre-06 era, but as far as like the built Good up, the Good we all knew through and through, it was those six with Grant and Micah. Once those two left, that felt like literally part of the entity was breaking off. A meteor was just shedding an asteroid and that was headed towards Earth. Like it felt like huge. It felt big. It felt very like fractional and important. However, nothing against Ben Haddon. I love Ben Haddon, but him leaving Good does not feel that big of a deal at all. It feels like a dude who had an apparel deal, who was with them and in some videos, who they weren't seeing eye to eye, and they're just going their separate ways. And Ben's gonna make YouTube videos, and Google's gonna make YouTube videos, and everything's fine. And it's just two adults playing ways. Have you seen me make follow-up videos about it? Like Grant and Micah, we literally talked about that for like a year. Like it was the biggest thing. It's all you guys wanted to hear about. And I mean, this Ben Haddon thing, like, it's over. It's done. One video. Why he's leaving. All right, move on. Like, and I think this is the point I'm trying to make. Is I think this is the era we're moving towards potentially with people leaving Good. Now don't get me wrong, if like Bubby left or Matt Sharf left or Garrett left or something like that, obviously that would be fractional, that would be big news, that'd be crazy. But I think Good is really operating probably on more of just like this sort of cyclical talent kind of model where like people can come in and, you know, if they're signed to a Good apparel deal, then they can be in videos if it makes sense. I mean, obviously they don't have to be signed to a Good apparel deal. They've got lots of people who aren't signed. My point is, if you have someone like a Ben Haddon who's signed to an apparel deal and he just kind of pops out of videos, not a big deal. If that apparel deal comes up and they're no longer working together, then you're probably not gonna be in videos, and that's okay, and you move on. And it's not this crazy thing that it used to be where it felt like they were actually like an integral part of this group, that like if they left, the whole group's just different and they're gonna make a podcast on the main channel about it. Like Good hasn't even addressed Ben leaving, and I don't think they ever will, because it's not, in my opinion, it's not a big deal. I just don't think it's a big deal in the span of YouTube golf. So do I think Luke leaving would hold more weight? Yes, because he's been what feels like a relatively core member essentially since Grant and Micah left. He was kind of the first one to come into the fold after those guys left. He obviously has a massive personal channel. He's a very successful creator on his own. And so, yes, I think him leaving would pull a bit more weight. But also on that same vein, he has a very successful personal channel. He has the ability, for sure, just like he was doing before Good, to operate on his own. And is he next to leave Good? I don't know if he's next, but could he leave at one point? Maybe. Like, I think it's tough to assume that people who like come into these videos and are part of it, like an AJ or like a Brad, are necessarily just gonna be there forever. Like you have, again, the people who really founded it in like the Garrett and Matt Sharf and Bubby and all these people. Like I feel like those guys, like they are Good, and they are probably going to be there forever, or at least for as long as Good exists. But I mean, everyone else, I feel like they're probably, it probably is opportunity based, to be honest. Like it's probably business, it's probably opportunity based. It's probably like anything, right? Like Tiger left Nike. Like Tiger had an opportunity to go start his own like apparel company, I guess in partnership with, but whatever. And he's not sponsored by Nike anymore, you know? And like that could happen in our world. You've seen it. I mean, Grant, even a founding member, what felt like a founding member, even though he wasn't, he was probably the least founding member of the six, but whatever, an integral member of the group, left to go do his own thing, and now he's one of the most successful YouTubers out there, and he's collaborating sort of with Good again. He has the Garrett video, he was at the Good Desert Open. Like these things can happen, and we can all move on, and everything can kind of like be normal. So I think the point I'm trying to make in this video is like, is Luke Kwon next to leave Good? Maybe, but is it gonna be a big deal if it is? No, I don't think so. I think it'll be a big deal for one video. Like it'll be like, he's left, here's why. Hopefully I'll have that information, and you know, that's it. And again, I'm not trying to like put it on Luke or the group that he is leaving. I think personally, I don't agree with the comments that are like, oh, he's like looking sad, or he's disengaged, or used to be more engaged, or whatever. Like that is all speculation. And I know that sounds funny because it's like, well, Nate, this whole video is speculation, but like this is speculation on like a broader term of like a concept, whereas like that's looking at an individual and being like, you look sad, that must mean blank. And it's like, well, number one, you don't know if that means he's sad. maybe he's just, I mean, Luke personally, this is an assumption, but strikes me as like maybe a little more introverted than like, I don't know, a Matt Scharf. Like he's not screaming on camera the whole time, and that's fine. That's his personality. So maybe if he's, you know, a little quieter one day, a little tired, like whatever. And I don't know, I feel like I've seen ups and downs. I've seen him, yes, be a little more quiet, but I've also seen him be not quiet in recent videos. And I think it's kind of the same story arc with even Matt. We talked about it in my interview with him, where like he had a moment where he was a little quiet because he had stuff going on where he was not happy with getting hate comments, and then he also had his back injuries, and like things can compound on you and weigh on you. And it's not like Matt was about to leave good, it was that Matt was having these personal issues. So I think it's hard to just put what we see as the viewers on camera on someone as like this definitive thing. But again, I do understand where you guys are coming from. A lot of people say that he's more, you know, excited and entertaining in his own personal videos and not as much in good. To that, I would say, duh, you have to be. If he didn't, he's carrying those videos. He's the only person on camera in a lot of them, or one of two. He's carrying those videos. He has to be a big elated version of himself. You put me, I'm a talker. I feel like I'm a presence on camera, but you put me in a good video with the, you're gonna be like, why is Nate quiet? Like, because I'm not running the show there. It's not my show, and there's 6 other people, 5, 6 other people, however many other people there who are also part of this show, and at the very least should be equals and not being drowned out. So like, I think the personality you see in a creator's own videos versus in a group collaborative piece of content, it's going to be less than, because they're then 1/6 of the show instead of the entire show. So I don't know. Listen, I think at the end of the day, if Luke or AJ or Brad or whoever decides to part ways with good, I think, you know, business is business, and I don't necessarily see any of those things happening. But I also think that like, if things do come about, it's not gonna necessarily be the same as it was with Grant and Mike. So that's my take on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. I wanted to make this little weekly wrap-up video. This is a big one you guys have been asking for ever since Scottsdale, so let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. See you guys in the next one.